Okay, we're still reviewing the papers. We're moving on now to Vanguard. Why prices of food items will soar higher, says investigation. Businesses won't survive at 30% interest rate, says Dangote. How public debt hit $91.46 billion despite generating $1 trillion in 40 days, says Agbakoba. CBN to sanction banks for rejecting old and small dollar denominations. Okay, Mr.
Okay, so I have the major headline. Why prices of food items will continue to soar. And the Vanguard went round town. They asked farmers, and one of the farmers one Mrs. Anato Ajiji in the tomato market, Bauchi Ring Road in Jos, said they no longer tell people the price of tomato until you are out to buy. Because if they tell you if they sell for 4,000, you can come in the morning, it's 8,000. You can come in the afternoon, it's even dropped to 2,000. So nobody tells you until you're there to buy at a time. And he said this is making things difficult because Nigerians' purchasing power is still dwindling, and the various high cost of transportation, increasing inability of farmers to go to farm due to insecurity, foreign exchange, climate change effects, multiple taxation, late release of budget allocation, rising inflation, some of the reasons our prices continue to go up and down. Also, the leading lawyer, Olisa Agbakoba, mentioned how government must fight hunger and avert looming riots. The House of Reps have also urged the federal government to collaborate with state government to address food insecurity. But the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics now gave us details. Said the average price of local rice is at 1 kg is about 1,700. They said 1,608.89, indicating an increase of 189.79% in the year-on-year price increase, and it went from 555 to that amount. Also, beans has gone from 1 kg beans has gone from 629 naira per kg to 2,000 plus kg per kg, and they took all the details, all the food stuff that we usually
it's a good thing that I'm taking this story just immediately after you, because Olisa Agbakoba here also told us the reason why it's macheted more on the reasons why we're not creating enough revenue for the country. Human rights activist and senior lawyer Dr. Olisa Agbakoba's son yesterday said Nigeria's public debt rose to $91.46 billion, despite the ability to generate $1 trillion in 40 years. Agbakoba identified the alleged exclusion of Nigerians from key value chains, weak enforcement of local content laws, incorporation of foreign agreements, tax avoidance, and corruption as possible reasons for the development. He also called for the implementation of new measures, including the increase of Nigerians' participation in legal services, shipping, banking, insurance, drilling, oilfield services, and engineering within the oil and gas industry. In his presentation titled The Paradox of Nigeria's Oil and Gas Industry, a policy paper, at an engagement with the media in houses, Agbakoba said over the past 40 years, the cumulative revenue from oil and gas has exceeded $1 trillion, an amount that should have been sufficient to transform the nation's economy and infrastructure. He also said that funds from crude oil production are often domiciled in foreign banks, and sometimes they hold it for months before remitting them to the central bank, depriving Nigerians of substantial business and economy of potential multiplier effects. They also push that most of the jobs, drilling jobs, shipping jobs, are given to IOCs, right? And then they don't even transfer those skills, the technical skills, to Nigerians. Yes, so it's always a problem for us. And finally, he ended with something that, I think that I'm very keen on here. He said that, one sec. Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
My stuff went
While
up.
you're looking for that, let me take the other story.
All right.
Excuse me, in the Nigerian Tribune. We'll come back to your story. The Nigerian Tribune. Businesses can't grow at 30%. We talked about that already from Dangote. Parties knock Wiki over threat on Kinjibe. Sumal workers protest. 1 dead, 12 suspects arrested. NNPCL declares state of emergency on crude oil production. Adopt July 13th as Wole Soyinka Day, Alaki Obibadan advises. Kano Emiaship tussle, court to hear suits tomorrow. Bandits kill lecturer in Katsina, abduct his children. And FG clears $850 million debt to EU airlines. Okay, before I take my story, you have one.
Okay, yes.
Point
so
here.
he said that oil rig companies have formed a cartel for tax avoidance with NIMASA. I find this so worrisome, confirming that they do not collect tax from oil rigs, and that this reflects a massive loss on potential government revenues, because the oil rigs revenue alone brings up to 3 trillion naira yearly. Imagine the amount of money we're losing. Do you understand? Which forms like 15% of the national budget. That's a lot of money. So that the loss of this revenue significantly impacts the government's ability to fund. So,
absolutely,
yes, we need to do a lot better. We are going through an economic crisis, whether we like it or not. And letting such monies move to the foreign, to the IOCs and foreign countries doesn't even make sense for the Nigerian economy.
So let me take this story from the Alaki of Igbalan about Dr. Adedotun Gbadebo. He has urged the federal government to declare July 13th, which is the birthday of Professor Wole Soyinka, as Professor Wole Soyinka Day, in honor of the literary icon. He said this on Tuesday at the sideline of the Royal World Press Conference launch with editors selected from some media organizations at the Ake Palace in Abeokuta to commemorate the 90th birthday of Soyinka. He was asking that the federal government to bestow the second highest national honor of the Grand Commander of the Order of the Niger, GCON, on the first Black African Nobel laureate in literature. Gbadebo also, flanked by the celebrants Wole Soyinka and others, said that July 13 has been declared Wole Soyinka Day in Igbaland to further amplify Soyinka's uncommon achievements. Okay, any other story in Tribune?
Yeah, I have the Bandit Attack Foodman lecturer. So there was an attack at the low-cost Yarima quarters around 1:30 a.m. on Tuesday, and the bandits attacked the residence of a lecturer, Dr. Thierry Gian David, who was the head of the Department of Agricultural Economics Extension and Rural Development of Federal University, Dushima. And sadly, they killed him. And an eyewitness said that they started shooting, they heard the shooting, and they were all awoke by that noise by 1:30 a.m. The gunshot was all over the community. The night was scary, according to the eyewitness. And they said they left with 2 of the children of the late lecturer, and who they've not heard from them. When Tribune contacted the spokesman of the police command, he confirmed the incident and said that they would soon release a statement, but nothing has been heard about the children.
Okay, our final paper, the New Telegraph. Let's find a story. Nigerians spent 16.5 trillion on self-generated electricity, says Adelabu. Senate approves Kalu's motion on flood menace. Dollar. Again, CBN threatens to sanction banks over rejection of old denominations. Tinubu enjoys rock-solid support in the north, says Defense Minister. And Senate steps up move to decriminalize non-use of NIN. I have the Minister of Power's story here. He says Nigerians, according to report, Nigerians spent 16.5 trillion on self-generated electricity before Uncle, particularly fueling and servicing of generators, the minister was saying. He said the figure was arrived by research that was carried out back in 2023. He spoke yesterday while delivering his speech at the Niger Oil and Gas Energy Week. He said that what Nigerians spend on self-generation of power, on fueling and servicing, is 16.5 trillion, according to research. Looking at this, you will see that what Band A consumers pay is still cheaper compared to this, despite having 24 hours uninterrupted supply. He keeps insisting we're having 24 hours uninterrupted supply. I don't know, me, I don't have 24 hours uninterrupted. The minister opined that as Nigeria continues to embark on an extraordinary journey towards zero carbon emissions, it is crucial to ensure that a more just, affordable and sustainable energy system is adopted to address the industry's most pressing challenge and unlock limitless potential in achieving its objectives. Well, I don't know. We'll see how that goes with the minister. But the truth is that that 16.5 trillion, I'm sure, would have probably increased by now, because those who are under Band A would rather find ways to self-generate
of course.
and pay that money to
It's a lot.
to the federal
When
government.
they're not getting the value for their money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all we can take on front page review this morning. When we come back, we're going to start with the hot topic of today. Hopefully, Mariam will be all right. We'll be here by then. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.